The immersive travel project is a really good idea. It's going to cover some great subjects, things that actually are really important to journalism, such as immersing yourself in a story, immersing yourself within a group, a society, an area, and finding out stories that you otherwise wouldn't get to if you were just sort of, diving in, diving out, or working through email, social media. The actual face-to-face and contact and the time that you spend with sources and in an area, exploring and immersing yourself as a journalist and as an explorer into a subject can only be good for the project. And I think it will be really interesting to see how all of the different subject matters sort of come together and leading into hopefully a great magazine to produce for the Festival of the North East in June. It's really for the actual benefit of it personally, that the more that you actually take your time and become aware of the way that you travel, I think the more that you will enjoy it. It's also very much more sustainable to move more slowly, to think about the process of travelling that can take more time, not always take the cheap and quick option. Flights, cheap flights across Europe, for example, seem to be a great benefit and bargain for people, but there are a huge amount of hidden costs in terms of the environmental cost, and they don't all, travelling, what they call cattle class on something like Ryanair is not a pleasurable experience, whereas actually taking a week to walk 60 miles across the Pennines can actually probably be a more enjoyable experience. I would say there's quite a lot. I mean, I think the North East has got some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and it's really lovely up here that they're not very. They're always quite empty, even on a really sunny day, and there aren't many of those. There's also a great opportunity to engage with sort of local producers, local communities. So, like in terms of food and drink, it's still very rural up for much, for many parts of the North East. So, it's actually quite an opportunity for people to realise that the wide range of produce and experiences in the North East. And there's some really beautiful scenery, and there's some great cities, and there's some great traditions. And actually, you can't really get to grips with it. You can't really understand and get the benefit from the environment and traditions and society and people without spending time there. So I think it's a great place to give it a go. I think it's great for people who want to get away from crowds, because actually one of the best things I like about the North East is you go out on a beach, you go out on Long Sands Beach in Tynemouth, or if you go up to Durridge Bay, and you can have just miles of beach on your own, you can have the countryside to yourself, but you've still got those hubs. You've got Berwick, you've got Newcastle, and you've got all of the little market towns in between, where you can actually, you've got civilization. It's not you're not going to be lost in the heather on the moors for 2 weeks if you come to the North East. And actually, there's a great deal of culture up here. We've got the Baltic and the Sage, and we've got people who are willing to go out and experience things. And actually, I think spending time coming up here, meeting those people, it can be a really great experience.